This car came to me as a partial no-runner. It has been at a Volvo workshop, and they replaced the throttle body and software with a brand new one, and the car is still not a good runner. The customer, which is a friend of mine, brought the car to another workshop, and they were not able to find the problem either. So what we're going to do now is to scan some fault codes, and the ones we're particularly going to look more specifically after is the ones in the video title. And then we're going to do some fault finding, and then the car will go from this, I'm not even touching the pedal here, it's just to this. Hey! So let's get to it. The different fault codes that is in the video title are actually the same. 902A and CEM-1A5D is actually the same fault code, but depending on which scan tool you're using, for instance, if you're using Autocom, it will scan it as 902A, and if you scan it with a Volvo VIDA unit, it will say the other one. So that's why there are different fault codes, but it actually refers to the same problem in the car. I'm not even touching the pedal here, it just revs by itself. And it sounds like we have an ignition coil problem, but it's because the throttle body doesn't specifically know where it is, so that's why it's huffing and puffing like it does now. And it only partially responds to the gas pedal. Even though there is already 2 workshops that has checked on this car, I suggest we start checking with the more simpler things first. And what I was thinking is to check the power that is coming from the engine ECU to the throttle body and the ground. Good to know on both diesel and petrol driven cars is that when it comes to electronic throttle bodies, in the connector itself there is always 2 power cables coming to it. And that is because if something goes wrong with the car, you're always hopefully going to make it home by yourself. These 2 power cables that is into the connector is always battery voltage, and the other one is supposed to be around 4.8, 5 point something volts. That's a common value. And then we have ground coming from the throttle body to the engine ECU itself. So we're going to check the 3 of these and see where that takes us. And if we don't find any problems there, we are going to go further on using an oscilloscope, and we're going to check the values that are coming from the engine ECU to the throttle body and see if we find any interference there. And if we find any interference there, I believe, even though it is a brand new throttle body, I believe the throttle body can be broken, or we have some bad software into it. So let's start with the more simpler things first and see where that takes us, and then we'll move further on. So we're going to measure as the picture showed us with ignition on. And then we have almost 3 volts. I guess that's okay. So I'll give that a pass for now, and then we're going to go for battery voltage. Okay, it seems like we've found a possible problem here. We don't have any battery voltage to the, oh my god, we don't have a we don't have any battery voltage coming to the throttle body itself. So what we're going to check further on here is to I'd say checking wires, but you know what, we're going to check the fuses first. We're going to check the fuses first and see where that leads us. When it comes to, for example, fuse boxes and things like that in this generation of car, there is many variations. This one is a really old one. It's a 2001, something like that. So it's one of the early ones. And the fuses for the throttle body on this specific car, and it's a left steer one, is under the hood. And there is two 10 amp fuses for this, so we're going to check those. And this is the same from 2000 to 2003, something like that. And then it comes a new model of throttle body on these cars. And then it fits with two snaps here. And the ones we're going to check specifically for is the two 10 amp ones in the top, in the left corner. And then we have a tool. We can actually take the lamp as well, so we can make a proper decision whenever if they're working or not. This one looks okay. And this one isn't okay. Oh Lord. Okay, I think we've found the problem on the car. That's a bit of surprise, this, because, okay, as I said before, there is a brand new throttle body on this car. Okay, anyway, we're going to replace this fuse and see what happens. New 10 amp fuse. Okay, that's all we need to check. Put the tool back on and the cover back on. So let's put the connector back onto the throttle body and see if we have any response. Oh, and we have a sound from the throttle body we haven't heard before. Hey! Now that was a bit of a surprise actually, so what we're going to do now is to clear out the fault codes and see if they come back or not. We just need to test one more time. Fault codes erased. Throttle body response, as expected. Still no fault codes. Service engine message is gone. Now we have a working car again. I hope this video were for any help for you, and if you enjoy the content, please hit that like button. And if you're into more fault finding with me, you should consider subscribing. So go out to your garage or your workshop and make an impact.